Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today is Wednesday, aka Hump Day, the 30th of April, 2025. And I'm going to be responding to or reacting to one of Anton Daniels' channel. It's a video that they get into the whole Shannon Sharp thing, what's considered too young, what's considered the appropriate age. Who's to really know? Because the official age of adult is 18. When you become an adult, you graduate school, you can vote, you can enter the military, you can purchase a weapon, as long as it's a long gun. So depends on where you're at. Age of 16 is consent. So me, I wouldn't advise that. It's going to be frowned upon and scrutinized by everybody, but it's still legal. There's some states. To me, it's weird. To others, it probably would be weird as well. But what is considered too young? I've always thought about that ever since I started dating back when I was just joined the military at the age of 19. You know, I dated people younger. I dated people older. I think the oldest I ever dated was maybe 6 years, and that's back when I was I think I was in 16 at the time, and I was seeing this chick. She was 21 or 22. She just had a birthday, and my mother found out along with my aunt when I was working at Six Flags, and I got in trouble for it. So if they're watching, they know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, to me, I wouldn't date anyone younger than my oldest son, which is 24. So, but I'm out the dating game. My fiance about to get married soon. So we'll see how that goes. But let's get into this video with Anton Daniels and his crew.
I do not feel bad for Shannon Sharp. Actually, kneel into the wall. Men like Shannon Sharp go after women whose frontal lobe have yet to develop, and then when they prove to you that they are still children, it's, how dare she try to manipulate me? How dare she try to get money from me?
She's using trigger words, that are still children, but she's a legal adult. He met her, she was 19. I think he was 54 or 55 at the time. She's a legal adult. She can get on an apartment, live on her own, work, pay taxes, vote. So she's an adult. It may not be something that you would do, but she's still a legal adult.
Why do you think she was fucking with your old ass? And y'all don't want women with boundaries, with self-respect. Y'all want little girls who is going.
Again, they keep using certain words, little girls, but she's an adult. Women who say that. And men, we really won't say that because she's legal. It's the law of the land.
To do whatever y'all want her to do for a little bit of change. And now she's trying to get over on you, and you mad. Program. Y'all get so full of yourself that you genuinely think this child wants you for real. What does a 56-year-old and a 19-year-old?
You notice that, right? She used all the three trigger words. She said kid, little girl, now child. Also watching the media, that's how they do. They try to, make something seem worse than it actually is. Same thing with the not Anton, but the Carmelo Anthony situation. One kid, he called him a kid, 18-year-old kid. They say, oh, he's a 17-year-old man. So you look for the trigger words that you're trying to, get a rise out of the person who's reading or watching the video.
Have to have in common. If you have to say it's legal as a way to defend your dating preferences, you're a predator.
See, another trigger word. You're a predator. You have to use legal. But what are you supposed to do then? It's what else can you say other than it's illegal? You have the right as an adult. That's an official adult. I always try to say the same thing. I never understood that.
That's like us saying slavery was bad, and y'all be like, well, it was legal. That doesn't.
Two different things, different contexts altogether. So yeah.
Make it okay. In any relationship where there is a significant difference, whether it be finances or age, there is going to be a level of manipulation.
Please. Okay, so before we get into it, this is what the 19-year-old looks like. Okay, dang, it's a little blurry, but this is.
And she's OnlyFans, so she's old enough to do porn and all that other or corn, whatever. They're gonna demonetize. I'm not even monetized, so what does it matter? She's old enough to do stuff like that, adult content, if you will. So
she looks like, okay. So Shannon Sharp has also been losing sponsors. He did temporarily took himself down from ESPN. Okay. So we'll talk about it. I know last week we did talk about the whole Shannon Sharp, the lawsuit coming out. We're just waiting till more evidence, and now other women are speaking. And I know this age difference, age gap has been of discussion. So
okay, so first of all, if you pull back up that woman picture, you can no, not her picture, the woman who was talking, the woman in the pink.
mm-hmm.
If you look at her wig, you can see her screen. Okay,
Looking at that.
so her screen.
2K a fool. He always talking shit about somebody. He don't care who. He gonna go at you. If he see it, he gonna call it out. That's my man.
No, because this stuff matters.
I don't see how, but okay.
Yes, how you talking shit about somebody and I can see your screen though?
She wasn't talking crap. She was just giving her opinion.
No, she was talking shit. No.
She was.
Okay, first of all, me and Shannon Sharp, we are from the South, okay? We got a different set of rules. Down there, if you can cross the street, you can get hit. Okay? And that's what it means. So by her being 19, she is legal and she is ready for whatever.
Yeah.
Listen, if y'all don't like the law because the Bible say abide by the law of the land.
You want to
It does.
Y'all
believe in God.
Abide by the law of the land. Okay?
You don't even believe in God. How are you going?
Yeah, he don't believe in God whatsoever. Every time somebody bring up religion to God, although he used to when he was younger, but it's just too many. Like if you worship God, right? If you're Christian, you worship this. So that means everybody else that practice other religions are atheists. That's his argument.
Right.
If the Bible say follow the law and Shannon follow the law, what are we talking about?
We're talking about a different intellect level.
Doesn't matter.
Because he's got God. But what did he think going into it? The prerequisite of dating somebody who just got out of high school is going to be you play stupid games, you get stupid prizes.
Hugh Hefner didn't get no stupid prize.
Point. Exactly. Hugh Hefner was dating somebody. I think he was like 80 something. She was like in her 20s. George Clooney used to do it. Leonardo DiCaprio still does it. He said right when they turn 25, he don't date him anymore. Who else? Tracy Ellis Ross. She's 52. She dates younger. Madonna. She's like 65. She was dating that 30-year-old dude when they got broken up. Elvis Presley. He was 32 or 31 when he married his 24-year-old wife or 21-year-old wife, and she was 14 when he met her. So it's been going on forever, and no one batted an eye.
This is what I think, right? To answer a Q question, it is a double standard. First,
it is.
To answer your question, it is a double standard. Secondly, Shannon Sharp, I mean, you got to protect yourself. Men of certain stature, you got to protect yourself.
He should have been smarter. The thing he should have got it was an NDA or something. A lot of these people that are in high status positions. If you're gonna be doing certain things like that, these females talk these days. They got their cell phones. They can pin locations. They can send texts to friends and stuff like that. So you gotta protect yourself, like you said. Get that NDA.
These women ain't no good, man. I mean, if you think about it, if we being real, if we want to be real, there's a small pool of good women to choose from. Most of the women we got to choose from ain't no good. So if you are a Shannon Sharp caliber type of man, you just have to protect yourself.
My boy. So I agree with you. Okay, it's 7 good women on this planet, and they scattered all over like Dragon Ball. I agree.
Like Dragon. It's fool.
This what you tend to forget. She could have been one of them 7 Dragon Balls. But the money, hold on, but the money. Because think about it, the love of money can corrupt the person. All of these women on this panel,
you love it.
All of these women on this panel are sweet people. But if you tell them for $10 million, if you fuck that nigga over, we can get you this money.
Boy, that's facts, right? They even came out with a movie about this years back. It's called Indecent Proposal. It has a Demi Moore, and I forgot the other guy. and Richard Gere or something like that. He came to him. They're at a casino. They gambling. He comes up and says, "Yeah, I give $1 million to sleep with your wife." They pondered over it. They thought about it because they had bills and stuff. Like, yeah, and he's talking about 10 million. Like you said, all those women on this panel. Man, come on, they do it.
All of these women on this panel change.
So, 2K, I have a question. In
I
some
wouldn't go
states,
as far
the
as to say
consent. Hold on, I got a question. The consent in some states is 16.
Yep.
If you weren't married, would you dip into a 16-year-old? Yes or no?
Hey,
no.
Yep.
Hell,
And would you be okay with your 16-year-old daughter getting dipped on by a
I'm a
16-year-old man?
law-abiding citizen, okay?
I personally would do it because, for me, you won't be able to get her into the club. Can't drink. There's a lot of things you can't do at that age. So I'd say at least, 20, 21, because it makes more sense. Like for me, like I said earlier, I would date anyone younger than my oldest son, who's about to be 25 in May.
So
Ain't
you
it the
lost
age-
the coochie at a 16-year-old. Is that what you're saying?
I'm a law-abiding citizen. If I'm not breaking the law,
And it's a
come on, Tuka.
Law-abiding
16,
citizen.
bro.
the age of consent is 16 with a parent's
approval.
I think it's like a parent
see-
consent or something like that.
Yep.
Do you
Bro.
see how
It depends on the state.
listen, bro. I'm just saying that the law is the law.
Okay,
I'm
so
Also, you got to think about it. They used to be much younger than that back in the day, but due to modernity and different ways of thinking and feminism and all the other stuff that came around about 60 years ago, they changed a lot of these laws, and so now we look at it as though that's gross. We got to put it 18 because you think about it like back in the old days, medieval times, right when a woman became a woman, I mean, she had her menstrual cycle. Oh, she's a woman. Therefore, they did it because they could prove paternity. She's at her most fertile. That means she can give me the best chance of offspring. That's why they did it back then. As time's gotten, if we progress through time, the age goes up and up and up because, like I said, modernity. And that's not, people think differently nowadays.
okay, you would. Okay, let's hear about the other men. Michigan, you would dip into a 16-year-old?
Okay, how old? No, I wouldn't. But how old are you, 2K?
me. I'm in my
Yeah.
third.
Bruh, 16.
Come on.
My
now.
dick won't even fit in a 16-year-old, bro. Just to be real.
I don't
16,
like that ain't a good argument either.
16, bro.
But listen,
Come
okay,
on.
so bro,
Okay.
y'all be forgetting, okay, because
No.
we quick to call it predatory behavior, but there are a set of women
Hmm.
who seek out older men.
They're predators.
That's
too.
true.
They're
That makes
predators.
it okay.
Those women, those teachers in high school
They
seeking
want
out
like
these
a
little
what? A
boys
sugar
in
daddy,
middle
this
school.
and
They're
all.
predators. They
That's,
need to be
that's sick.
The teachers in high school, yep.
Listen,
You
now,
mostly see it with the like especially like the last couple of years. You mostly been all women that's doing that nowadays. Preying on like young boys, young teenagers.
personally, me, I wouldn't do it. But don't talk. Listen, if you give me an 18-year-old and ask me, could she get nailed to the cross, and I never got to talk to her again? Yeah, I don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you.
But let's just change the narrative from 16, right? Because that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a 19-year-old woman, right?
Mhm.
Fine.
Okay, same thing. What 17 is in Canada, right? Like 16 or 17 is in Canada, and there is no permission. You just do it. Like a lot of countries, other countries outside the U.S., it's the same way. You're considered a legal adult. So
She's legal, fine, right? We don't have to even get into that conversation. We understand 18 is legal. The question here is, how can a 19-year-old stimulate your 56-year-old mind? Like, what are you doing?
he's not looking for stimulation in that term because she's not going to be able to stimulate his mind as far as anything on his thinking. But him being a man, being a visual creature, she looks nice, she looks good, she's young. I want it. That's pretty much how we go about it. We're not looking at it from some type of intellectual, discovery. Who does that?
are somebody who's wealthy, who's come into all of these agreements and contracts, and you have an image, and therefore you put your image on the line, and now you're sitting over here looking sad on camera because you lost your endorsement.
Hello.
Ty, see, you're not a man, okay? You don't understand.
Yep. She's coming from a woman's
what it's
perspective.
like to be Big Daddy. Okay.
Wasn't there?
The Big Daddy done lost a lot of money.
I don't-
Nah, they wasn't having no type of
Listen,
conversations. We
y'all-
heard the girl on the
Y'all
on the
ain't
tape.
never,
She
y'all ain't
sounded
never
kind of
had,
slow.
y'all have never had to
He
deal
was
with
doing
a
what he knew
freaking
he was doing.
woman.
Mhm.
Listen, bro, if you ever in your life feeling down, go mess with a poor young chick, okay? They will make you feel like the best person in the fucking world.
The 2K.
Because they gotta know that they gonna do whatever they can to get that money that you got.
Dumpster diving.
Where's a 50-year-old going to meet a 19-year-old? I'm just
Jim?
Wait.
The
Hold on.
gym.
Hold on.
Pubs.
Y'all asking the wrong question. The right question is, what is the right age?
Yeah.
I think it depends on the man's age. I feel like, cause me, right? I'll be 33 this year. I
So
have
wait.
I got an age limit. I don't date any woman below 25. I just found that younger women are very immature. That's just my
I have an answer.
That's both
Wait,
sides, though.
Wait. Forget your age limit. What is what is the right age according to however old that you are?
30 for him because he was 56. At least 30.
You're too old to be her father. Let's start there. If you can be
Well,
her
I
father,
wouldn't go as far
let's
as that.
say
I would just
that
say,
age.
It's crazy. Again, like I said, Hugh Hefner was in his 80s. No one batted an eye. Elvis Presley, same thing. He was like 15 years older than his wife. And like I said, he met her when she was 14. Nobody says anything. Oh, they say, well, different times back then. It's still somewhat modern in the modern time. So, where do you go? Like, who determines what the right age is? Other than we have nothing but the legal law of 18 to go off of. Who determines that?
if we're gonna put a limit on it, what about no more than 2 generations? Because Shannon Sharp is,
I don't even.
56.
generations
I
of
don't
senior.
even know what that means.
He's her grandfather.
Like
That's
what?
the problem.
I don't even know what that means.
Okay, you say he's her grandfather. I don't see how, because my father has a son. My father's like 70 something. And I know I have a half brother who's like, I think 24, 25. So how do you know? Like, as far as this whole grandfather father thing.
Use years, y'all, to simplify it.
What's the purpose of staying nice, staying in shape? Well, if I'm 50, okay, and you went on the grind with me, why do I want you when you 50?
Wait. What's the right age?
The right age is 18.
If you 40, if you 40, for the women on here, if you 40, no, if you 30, what's the earliest that you can date?
A man? The man's 30?
A man is 30. What's the earliest you can date?
I think you should say,
20s.
I think 5 years.
I personally wouldn't go
Mid-20s.
lower than
I think
20.
25.
If you're
no.
30,
20,
Yeah.
Okay.
22?
So if a woman is 30, what's the earliest she can date?
I say 10 years for everybody. I think anything less than 10 years is a lot.
Hold on, wait. If a woman
because I was dating people, women back when I was in the military, 12 years younger than me, but they were still over the age of 21. Like, I have a 6-year gap between me and my fiance. There's been a gap above me, when I was dating, up as far as 6 or 7 years. So it just depends,
woman is 30, what's the
There's nothing set in
earliest she can
stone.
date?
I don't think even dipping that low is
20.
23.
If
I
a
say
woman is 20, what's the oldest she can date?
No, if the woman is 30, it's the same age. What's the
youngest.
youngest she can date?
5.
What's the youngest?
I would say 21.
25.
You
I
can't
say
really put,
5.
Okay.
your
no.
opinion on it. It's
So
up to
if
the
a
person
man is 40,
or
what's
the
the
people.
earliest he can
They're the
date?
ones in a relationship.
30.
28. 27.
bro.
Okay, cool.
Because if women mature, this is studies, women
Yep,
mature,
they mature
quicker
faster.
than men, right? So I would think that a man can
Where
kind
they
of
put
get
that
a
from?
little bit younger compared to an older woman.
Okay, cool. So if he's 50, what's the earliest that he could date?
35.
30.
I mean, if he won't,
I say 30. She's
That's a
mature.
Okay, cool. So if
So that's the thing. You say 30, 35, but if that man doesn't have any children, him dating somebody who's around the age of 35, that's kind of limiting him because, geriatric pregnancy starts at the age of 35. So him being guaranteed offspring is going to be highly reduced because he's dating someone that old, that much older. But if he goes down into, earlier 30s, mid to late 20s, his chances are increased because she still has viable eggs in her system that could probably produce him, a son or a daughter or multiple.
Woman is 50. What's the earliest she could date?
30.
35.
35. She shouldn't be dipping that young.
Where y'all getting these numbers from, Lord?
This is what I'm trying to understand. Where y'all getting these numbers from?
Exactly.
Y'all just shooting from the hip?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's. I think it's a moral thing. It's like if I'm 50
Moral.
years old, what do I have in common with a barely 21-year-old? What do I have in common if he's 19? He was 18 last year. He just got out of high school.
You don't have to have too much in common if you're just dating. If you're not looking to actually be in a permanent relationship, i.e. get married, commonalities, what, you both breathe air, you're both living, you both have a heartbeat. That's all it requires, right?
I'm 50. What business do I have rolling around in the bed, going outside? What business is that? If it's not to appease my ego, because that's all this shit is.
No, it ain't. Okay, well, that's interesting.
An old ass man needs to feel like he needs to only date women that are 10, 20, 30 plus years younger than him. It has nothing to do with him trying to find companionship, but everything to do with trying to appease his ego. He's obviously having a midlife crisis. He's obviously feeling like he can't deal with women his age because perhaps he hasn't evolved in the same rate that women his age are. And
Jazz, excuse me. I've seen her in other videos before. She's always the negative thinker, the one who, doesn't really lose logic. She always try to fight against people's arguments.
so a lot of women his age feel like, yeah, I'm not going to deal with a lot of this stuff. So he wants to go to a younger woman who hasn't had a lot of who hasn't had a lot of experience, who hasn't had a lot of experience dating men or anything like that. So I'm sorry, what?
Wait.
Les Miles.
Wait.
I didn't hear what you said.
That girl was the OnlyFans girl. She had plenty of miles.
Exactly. There was so many things wrong with
Yeah.
your
Wait. Come on, y'all. Hold on.
One mic.
Let me just mine this out a little bit. Why was Stella got her groove back a top selling book in the movie?
That's a movie.
Good point.
First of all,
Wait. You can't say that's a movie.
They
If
championed the
people
hell out that
supported
movie.
it, and primarily women are the ones that went and seen it and
Yep.
championed it.
gotta go
Hold
back.
on.
What happened to the
The
video?
whole
21.
the whole premise behind it was that she was too old, mature, had lived life, and when she first met the guy, she said, "I'm old enough to be your mother." So my point
Facts.
is why is that celebrated? Why is that not? Ooh, that's nasty. That's bad. Why is that
Double
celebrated?
standard.
How come I never seen any women saying cancel Tracy Ellis Ross? She shouldn't get any more movies after she appeared on Michelle Obama's podcast.
Why would they do that?
Because
part of the sisterhood, men aren't. So, men evil, men bad, gross what he's doing. Oh, Tracy Ellis, yay, good. Madonna, yay, go girl, get it. She's still out there getting it. Same thing with Erykah Badu. I think Keisha Cole now also all dating younger because they can't get no one equal on their level or higher because men don't want that. Especially the older you get, the younger you want to go because, more viable options, less baggage. You're not as manipulated in the head as a lot of these women are from bitter, broken relationships. But that's my thoughts and comments on it. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Give me a thumbs up. And I'll catch you next video. Peace.